Hey everyone, welcome back. So this week I want to introduce you to the 6-position carry. This was popularized by functional movement systems. And for this exercise, you just need a kettlebell. I'm going to start with a 15-pound kettlebell. This is kind of a lengthy exercise, so don't choose a kettlebell that you can't control for the full amount of time. Now, the idea of the 6-position carry is it's kind of a modification of the farmer's carry. And you can do a unilateral farmer's carry. You can get another kettlebell, do a bilateral farmer's carry. The idea here is you want to stay organized through your posture under load for a prolonged period of time. And so this exercise kind of exploits some of those concepts by making it unilateral, but also challenging the position of the weight so that it challenges your balance and your ability to stay organized, your central nervous system endurance even more. So the 6-position carry in concept is pretty simple. Just get a weight that you can control and make sure that you have a neutral wrist. You're going to put it overhead. That's position 1. You're going to start walking. You can set up a couple of cones in the basement, maybe 10 or 15 feet apart, walk a figure 8 around those cones, or if you have a much longer space like I do here, you can just walk back and forth and you can walk laps. So this is the first position. You'll notice that we have to make sure that we have plenty of shoulder mobility to get overhead. Also, take a long, slow, silent inhale. Exhale, pull those ribs down, get those ribs stacked over a neutral pelvis. Keep those ribs there the entire time. If you lose your balance, if you lose your grip, if your shoulder gets tired, if you begin to lean to one side, you'll then you'll bring that weight down to a front rack position. You'll notice I'm not out here. The elbow is in front of the rib cage. The weight is in front of the chest. The weight is actually resting on the front of the shoulder. Again, we want to maintain that neutral wrist position. Once you get tired in this position, grip begins to go, you lose your balance, you just get tired, you'll want to take that down into a suitcase carry all the way down to the side. Now, this position you might hang out there for quite a while if the weight is fairly light, and that's just fine. Once again, you're looking for a loss of balance, you're looking for a loss of grip, maybe the shoulder becomes uncomfortable, then you're going to take it into position 4, which is on the other side, and then all the way overhead to start over again. Again, make sure, especially in this position, you don't want to arch your back, you don't want to lose that postural control. Take a big breath in through the nose, long, slow, silent, then exhale, pull those ribs down. Once again, stack those ribs over a neutral pelvis, and you're ready to go again. Keep moving the whole time. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. Again, posture, control, grip. If any of that begins to go, bring it down into that rack position, elbow in front of the ribs, the weight resting on the shoulder. And then once you get tired here, back down into the 6th position, another suitcase carry. Once you get tired in this position, take it back over to the other side, begin again. The goal for this exercise is about 10 minutes. Once you achieve that 10-minute goal, it's time to go up in weight. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like now. Okay, before we're ready to begin, we have to figure out what size kettlebell we need for this exercise. To do that, I've already chosen 15 pounds. I tried 20 pounds. 20 pounds was too heavy for my wrist and my grip strength. You'll want to take that kettlebell that you choose to see if you're ready to use that weight. Put it in the bottoms up position. 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, the lowest squat you can get into, and then up overhead, maintaining that bottoms up position the entire time. You have to be able to do that exact same sequence of movements on both sides under complete control in that bottoms up position. So again, 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, lowest squat you can get into, and then up overhead. I was able to do that on both sides with 15 pounds. I was only able to do it on one side with 20 pounds, so 15 is my weight. Now, I'm going to use those wrist guards. Again, you're going to be here for a while. The goal is 10 minutes, and that kettlebell against a neutral wrist can get really uncomfortable. These are really affordable on Amazon. Lots of people use them if they do a lot of kettlebell work. It's a great way to save your wrists. So now that we're ready, we get into position. Make sure that you stack those ribs over a neutral pelvis. Long, slow, silent inhale. Pull those ribs down. Then get that kettlebell overhead and begin to walk. So I've got a figure 8 setup here. I'm going to make sure that I can find the inside edge of the heel and the base of the big toe, the knuckle of the big toe on the bottom side with every step. So you can see this is a really slow exercise. Then as I get tired, as my shoulder gets tired, if I begin to lose my posture, if my rib cage begins to flare, if I begin to arch my back or lose my balance, I'm going to pull it down into the rack position. Keep that neutral wrist, keep that neutral spine. Once I get tired here, I'm going to drop it down into a suitcase position. Once my grip begins to go, I'm going to take it over to the other side, pull the rib cage down before I go overhead, long, slow, silent, Inhale, long, slow exhale, pull those ribs down, and I'm back overhead. Neutral wrist. Check your wrist position. Check your rib cage, spine. Once again, as you get tired, check your foot contacts. Inside edge of the heel, knuckle of the big toe. Come down into that rack position. Remember, the rack position, the elbow is against the rib cage, and the weight is actually resting on the front of the shoulder. Once this becomes uncomfortable, the grip begins to give way, lose your balance, posture, drop it down here into that suitcase carry. Once again, the goal is 10 minutes. This is an incredible way to develop core stability, an incredible way to develop postural stability and control, and neurologic endurance. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about this, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you more about it. See you next time.